Good morning or good evening, fellow storytellers. This is Naman, and today's my story is on blockchain. Uh, the way I understand the agenda which we are going to follow today is that why blockchain, what is a blockchain, how it works, and applications of blockchain. In my opinion, if we want to understand any new thing, we need to first put forth the question why that thing is out there. Then we probably need to look at what is that stuff out there and how it works. So I think if we can answer some of those basic questions, we can get good enough understanding of the things which we want to learn here. So I will start here with why blockchain. So blockchain is solving the double spending problem. Now, what is the double spending problem? The way I can look here, double spending problem is that one way to look into is that in form of a money transfer through fiat currency versus money transfer through internet. So what I mean by fiat currency here is that any currency which is issued by any government, for example, it could be US dollar, euro, or Indian national rupees. So whatever may be the any currency which is issued by any government. So if I had to give $5 to somebody, I'll just hand over $5 bill to the person, and that's end of transactions. There is no any third party involved. That's peer-to-peer transactions, and that's the end of the transaction here. Now that is not the true in case of money transfer over internet. So what is happening while money is being transferred? I had to have my bank account. I need to have sender's bank account. There would be in between payment processing company as well. So there are a lot of hoops in between. Though it looks very straightforward on the front end that I can instantly transfer the money from my account to somebody's account, there are so many in between loops, and that's what one of the idea blockchain is trying to solve here. Is that in terms of direct money, direct peer-to-peer transaction here. What happens in case of asset transfer over internet? So, for example, if I have a book, I hand over the book to somebody. I do not hold the possession of the book. The book is with that person only. But that is not the case in case of internet. Like for example, if I have a PDF version of the book, ebook, and if I give the PDF version of that book to somebody, I can give the same book, same PDF version of the book to third person and fourth person likewise. So that is what the double spending problem here is that. So blockchain is trying to solve this double spending problem, that how do I transfer asset over internet? When I say asset, it could be anything. It could be book, it could be MP3 recording, it could be stocks, bonds, anything for that matter. So this is there is a problem with asset transfer on internet. That's what I wanted to emphasize here. That is a double spending problem, and how do we keep track of that particular asset? So blockchain is trying to solve that problem as well. And let's look into what is a blockchain. Blockchain is essentially a shared distributed ledger. Blockchain is a growing list of records called blocks that are linked using cryptography. Each block contains a cryptographic hash of previous block, a timestamp, and transaction data. I got a reference from Wikipedia. That is one of the definition out there, which is so what essentially blockchain is containing is that there will be one genesis block. This is a chain of the block, and there are some orphan blocks as well, and we will look into more into detail. So each block would be containing some transaction data, and then that is linked to the next block. So this block would be containing some transaction data, and that is linked to the next block. Likewise, there is a chain, and there are some orphan blocks as well, and we would be talking more here in the next slide here. So how it works. One of the essential concepts of blockchain is mining and consensus mechanism. What is mining? So mining is something that if I want to, for example, if we are putting our transactions on a piece of paper, we keep on recording those transactions. At some point in time, we would be running out of the space on that paper, and we would be moving over to the next piece of paper. Now, at that point in time, we would like to fold that paper and put a seal on that. So that is what the essential process of mining. That is like folding out the paper and putting the seal. That is a very high-level definition of mining, and that's what somebody needs to do that job, and somebody needs to reward it for that purpose as well. So that is what is happening in case of a Bitcoin blockchain. That somebody needs to put a seal and fold the paper and ensure that the transaction is the way they are recorded. That is the mining. What is the consensus mechanism? That is one other aspect of the blockchain. So consensus mechanism is something that, like I'm playing basketball, informal game of basketball. Like the protocol is that whoever person is holding the ball, they will need to announce the score, and at some point in time in the game, somebody might think that that is not the score. So at that time, what would be happening is that uh, team need to come to agreement that what is the score at that point in time. So what would be happening is that people, what whoever majority of the team members believe the score is correct, that would be the correct score at that time, and that is the consensus mechanism here. So there is no referee here. There is no scorekeeping by anybody else. It just score is kept by the team itself, the team which is playing here. So that is what the consensus mechanism, which I can explain the way it works in a blockchain. Now, what I mean by blockchain is that like people think that something is on blockchain that can never be changed or that can never be uh, tampered with. I would consider like it's not something that it can never be changed, but it's very very difficult to change. So what it means, for example, like if I want to change a history on blockchain, what it means for assuming that like I want to say that John F. Kennedy was not killed by a gunshot. Now what I need to do is that I need to change my version of the book. Now everybody else will not agree with that. But what I need to do at that point in time, I need to change in each and every history book of the world to prove that the John F. Kennedy was not killed by a gunshot, and need everybody to read that book. So that's how I can change the history on the blockchain. But see, this is a process which is not very simple and very not easy. So that's why blockchain is called. It's not a temper proof, but it's a temper evident. So that something can be changed on the blockchain, but it's very very difficult to change whatever out there on the blockchain. Blockchain is kind of a proof of work. So we need to put a seal on the paper, and that's what the proof we need to show, and that is called proof of work here. Bitcoin is one form of electronic cash here. So what I mean by blockchain here is that things are things are working when we are removing the referee, when we are removing the third party intermediary. So there are definitely benefits, and there are pitfalls or whatever the responsibility which comes as a player. So what it means is that, for example, if I lose a wallet and somebody stole my currency notes from the wallet, there is no 1-800 number which I can call and ask them where my, I mean, there is no way I can keep track of the currency notes which I lost from my wallet. So that is same true. That is equally true for electronic case as a Bitcoin. So that is a pitfall, or it's a kind of a responsibility lies with the owner of the currency at that time. So what it means is that if I wrongfully send Bitcoin to somebody, or if I lose a password, or if I somehow lose the Bitcoin, there is no way to track it. It's just lost, and that's what purpose or intention of blockchain Bitcoin as well. That to mimic like a real cash, but then it comes with all the pitfalls of a cash as well. That it's lost for then there is no way to track it. There is no 1-800 number when you can call and report the problem. I mean, you can definitely report the problem, but there is no way to track that way. As good as you lost your currency notes. Applications of blockchain is that there are, as we can understand here, that it could be one of the easily applied for identity management. That's where we can clearly identify who is the owner of that particular asset, which we look in one of the earlier example. It is true for money transfer as well. It is can be applied in supply chain management, in financial accounting. Now, does blockchain change everything? I mean, there are a lot of applications of blockchain, but does it does it change everything? I do not think that blockchain is going to change everything instantly or in a very near future, but it would be building blocks of future economy. When I say future economy, it could be 10 years, 15 years down the line, there would be some of the successful blockchain applications which would be having a significant change in the marketplace. So in summary, blockchain is a peer-to-peer network. It is decentralized. It solves double spending problem without trusted third party, and Bitcoin blockchain only keeps track of Bitcoin balances. Thank you all for listening to the presentation.